So for this week's video, I'm going to have my dog choose my TBR for the week. Obviously, I saw Miss Sarah do this video, and I just thought it was the cutest video idea ever, so I want to do it with my dog. Come here. So this is Olive. I'm sure you've seen her in some of my other videos. You may have mistaken her for a rat. I understand, but she is in fact a Chihuahua, and she is my little girl. Now I do have two other dogs, and let me tell you, this is not the first time that I've attempted to film this video. Originally, like a month ago, I tried to film it with all three of them. It was simply too chaotic. I was so stressed out trying to handle them all because they do go crazy when treats are involved. So this is take two with just Olive because she will be the easiest to handle, and she's falling asleep. I do have a very random selection of books for her to pick from. I have a total of 6, and I'm gonna have her pick 3, maybe 4, depending on the length. I've also included some that I really am not in the mood to read, just to make it interesting, just to up the stakes a little bit. So very quickly, I'm just gonna go through these. I have The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I bought this a really long time ago, and I'm pretty sure I only read the very first chapter, and then I never picked it back up. If You Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan, Flawless by Elsie Silver, Call Me By Your Name by Andre Ackerman. Lastly, I have A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is the one I really don't want her to pick. At the beginning of this year, I decided that I wanted to reread and fully annotate the entire series. I burned through ACOTAR and A Court of Mist and Fury, and then I got to this one, and we made it about a quarter of a way through, and I just burnt myself out. Since then, I have not picked this up. I have not continued annotating. My goal is to have the entire series annotated, but I simply have not found the motivation to go back to this. So that's why I'm putting it as one of the options for her to choose, because if she chooses it, then I have to do it. So those are our options. I think I'm gonna do the same type of thing, and I'm just gonna lay all the books down and put a treat on top of each one, and then I'll just let her add it. And the first 3 that she picks will determine what I read this week. So I have all the books lined up here. Yes, I am cheating a little bit because I think she's gonna go to like the center ones first, so that's why that's over there. But there is a treat on them, and I had to banish her from my room. Let's let her in. Go over here. Go over here. Girl. Babe, turn around. Turn around, girl. Turn around. Okay. Right here. Okay, almost got it. Right here. Right here. She doesn't get it. Oh my god, are you serious? They're gonna think you're not smart. Right here. There's a treat in front of you. Oh, okay. We got it. Can we pick the other ones? There's more. Oh my god, this is gonna... Okay, good girl. Oh, okay. So she's made her selection. I never said she was the smartest dog. Her brain is very tiny. I know she was a little confused at first. She required some assistance, but we got there. So we have Call Me By Your Name. I am about 7 years late to the Call Me By Your Name train. Obviously a very popular movie. Everyone is obsessed with Timothée Chalamet. I was just never one of those people. I don't know, I never got into it. However, on a whim, I decided to watch the movie on Netflix finally. And as I was watching the movie, I was thinking to myself, maybe those people were right. Maybe this is something that I would have enjoyed. And summer in the Italian countryside, maybe I am interested. I stopped the movie like halfway through. I have not watched the entire thing. So I decided I wanted to read the book, and then I would finish the movie. I know Armie Hammer is allegedly a Tender as the Flesh stan. We're just gonna look past that right now. We also have Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is another one that I'm kind of late to. Like, this book has been quite popular for the past few months. And then she picked If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. I've seen people say that this book is incredibly sad. I've seen people sob over this book. I am not one to cry over books. I don't remember the last time a book made me cry, if a book has ever made me cry. We'll see what this does to me. I think I'm gonna start with Call Me By Your Name just because I think this is what she picked first. So this is what we're gonna start with. So I have Olive here with me for our first update. I'm on page 63. I just finished part 1 of the book. And the update is that I don't know how I feel about it yet. If you somehow don't know what this is about or you've never seen the movie, this is told from the point of view of Elio. Elio's father is a professor. They have a summer home in the Italian countryside. And every summer, his father invites a student to come stay with him. He helps them get like a manuscript published. And in return, the student is basically like his assistant for the summer. That student is obviously Oliver. He's 24. Elio is 17. Now, the writing is very atmospheric. It is very poetic, but I feel like these first 50 or so pages have just been very repetitive. Like, it's all just about Elio's obsession and longing towards Oliver. He's trying to figure out his feelings towards him. He's trying to hide his feelings. And right now it's very one-sided. Like, he just seems very infatuated and obsessed with Oliver. Like, there haven't been any like romantic interactions between the two. It's really just him going on and on and on about Oliver. I don't know. I'm not quite sold on it yet. The writing, like I said, is very poetic. There are snippets of beautiful writing. I just think it is almost too poetic for what I'm in the mood for right now. I don't know. The writing style almost feels like something I would have been assigned to read in school. I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of like a classic style writing, which I could be completely wrong, because I don't read classics and I don't know the last classic I read, but the writing style reminds me of something that could be a classic. And if I'm wrong, please don't tell me. So yeah, that's how I feel about it right now, but I'm gonna keep reading and we'll see if that changes. Do you care? Were you listening? Here's what we are thinking and feeling. I am thinking and feeling that I no longer want to continue this journey. I really don't think I want to keep reading this book. But here's the thing. I still have yet to DNF a book while making a video. Like, don't get me wrong. I have DNF'd books in the past, but I still have yet to DNF one during a video. And I feel like once we do that, we're just going to be opening doors that I don't want to open. But it's literally also not that serious. I really just don't want to be reading this right now. And I have another book that I really want to be reading right now. So that plus that equals me not finishing this book. I also do acknowledge that starting the video with the book she literally did not even pick defeats the entire purpose of this video, but we're gonna get there. I will read her other 2 picks. Is it okay if I don't finish this right now? Do you care? I don't think she cares. Okay, I'm gonna have her pick, but I'm gonna give her 2 options. One of them is the book that I really want to read. It's The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. I was upset that she didn't pick it, and that's the one that's on my mind right now. And then I'll put another one next to it. I'm just gonna cross my fingers that she picks the one that I want. And even if she doesn't pick it, I'm still probably gonna end up reading it. Just for the sake of this, I'm gonna still provide the illusion that there was a chance. I have the treats in my hand. I have the books laid down. Go. Oh, never mind. Can we try one more time? And can you pick that one, please? What about Clover? Do you want to try? Do you want to give it a shot, Clover? You come right here, please. Go ahead. Yeah! Okay. After a little bit of manipulation, I got what I wanted. Guys, I know that's like, oh, okay. I know I just heavily cheated. But if it's a situation where nobody gets hurt, It's okay to cheat. This is my Clover, if you missed it. She was originally not supposed to be part of this video, but she was just being so good. How could I not? How could I not include her? So now, take 2, first book of the video. This is The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. I have had this on my TBR for a little bit now, but I was waiting for the paperback to be available. I believe I originally saw this book recommended if you liked Bunny by Mona Awad, and that's been one of my favorite books this entire year. Also, I think Midsummer, the A24 movie, I don't know if that was included in the description, but right now my brain is making that connection, probably just because of the flowers on the front. This is about Mars and his twin sister Caroline, and at the beginning of the book, Caroline dies in like this horrific way. I am very excited to read this. It's giving like unsettling Midsummer Flowers cult. Just right up my alley. So here's officially what we're starting with for this video. I am about halfway through The Honeys. I'm on page 173, and I am so glad that I decided to start this instead. Like, this is much more what I am in the mood for. Like I said, this is mainly about Mars, and at the very, very beginning of the book, his twin sister dies. Like, very tragically, very horrifically, and to Mars, very suspiciously. He's like, this is not right. There's something going on with her death, and I need to go find out. So, in order to find out kind of what happened leading up to his sister's death, Mars decides that he is going to go back to this summer camp that he used to attend and his sister was still attending. And then at the summer camp, there is this group of girls called the Honeys, and they are kind of like this entrancing, powerful, and like very exclusive group of girls. Like, they're kind of like the mean girls, the queen bees of this summer camp. And so apparently Caroline was in the process of becoming friends with these girls whenever she died. So Mars thinks that this group of girls could have had something to do with his sister's death or leading up to her death. Mars is also gender fluid, and the pronouns that describe him on the back of the book are he, him, so that's what I'm going to use. So he's trying to navigate kind of like the boy versus girl split in a traditional summer camp, because it is a very traditional summer camp. It's a bougie one, it's for rich kids, but it's your traditional summer camp with cabins and campfires and kayaking and hiking and all that. I never experienced a sleepaway summer camp because I unfortunately was that child that had her parents come pick her up at 3 a.m. at every single sleepover I went to. I couldn't do it. I could not make it through the night. But the vibes are very unsettling, and that is the exact type of book that I love, where it's like everything seems okay, but like you can tell something's up. And Mars is just trying to figure it all out. Like I said, halfway through, I'm gonna keep reading. I really like it so far. I really like the writing, so I'm gonna keep reading. If it's just because I've just seen the Barbie movie, and right now I'm very fixated on like the beauty of girlhood and the beauty of womanhood, but like I want to be a honey. They're just this group of girls, they all live in this cabin together, they cook together, they bake, they take care of each other, they talk with each other, they support each other, and it's like just seems really nice. Like, I don't necessarily see the Honeys as like the villains of the story yet. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is just that the rest of the camp villainizes them because of their girlhood. But like, they're just girls being girls. And people don't like that. I also just really like this writing so far. Like, this is a YA book, and I think it's amazing because there are these little snippets and messages about self-perception and confidence and just like finding and knowing who you are. Like, this quote says, "The way they talk about themselves with such frankness, it feels like all people are wet clay, all the shapes that define us self-imposed. I realize this fits into the way I've always seen myself, which is art. Attempted, though often spoiled by the demands of another's taste. It makes me wonder what shape I'd be if I'd never met another human being." Amazing. And then Mars is talking to one of the girls, one of the honeys, and she's like, you probably thought we were bitches. And she's like, it's okay, everyone does. Just comes with knowing who you are and what you're worth. It's easy for people to perceive a threat, but that's usually their own insecurity talking. So good. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading, and I'm very excited to see how this is going to end. I think I have like 100 pages left. So I finished The Honeys at like 4 a.m. last night, don't ask. And I simply do not know how to describe the ending of this book. The ending of this book felt like an absolute fever dream, and I'm sure reading it at 4 a.m. only added to that effect. I feel like I am still processing what I read. And none of that is to say that I disliked this book. I actually liked this so much. I have never read anything by Ryan LaSala before, but I really enjoyed his writing style. One moment it was funny, it was entertaining, and then the next it would be like quite lyrical and layered and almost complex, but like not in a bad way, not in a complicated, I don't understand this way, but like, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but towards the end, when everything is kind of unfolding, you're figuring everything out, the whole overarching goings on were explained. It was almost like mind-blowing. Like, the concept of the lace, which I can say that because if you haven't read the book, then you just have no idea what that means. Like, that to me, I was like, how do you even think of something like that? This was really different from anything I've read. It does remind me of something like A24 would put out, like an A24 movie, Midsummer meets Bunny, but also another element, a newer element, something different. I don't know. Also, I loved the little Jennifer's Body reference. Skip ahead to wherever, because this might be a tiny little spoiler. So skip to, but on page 301, the girls are kind of talking and she goes, "Have you lost your mind? We don't hurt innocent people. It's our one rule." And the other girl goes, "I'm not hurting people. I'm hurting boys." It's iconic. I am giving this a solid 4.5. It was really different. I'm gonna stay thinking about this book. I would love to see it made into a movie, and I'm definitely going to be reading more of Ryan LaSala. I think he has a new book coming out in a couple of months, so that's exciting. His Twitter bio also says that he is the yassified R.L. Stine, and I think I love that. So I know that was technically not one of Olive's picks, but now we are moving to that. I think next I'm gonna go with If He Had Been With Me by Lauren Nolan. This one is a tearjerker. I have seen many reviews, a lot of reactions, a lot of people crying over this book. I think this is just about like childhood best friends, something happens, they grow apart, they don't speak anymore. Apparently it ends poorly. So, I said at the beginning of the video, I don't think this is gonna make me cry because I'm not a big crier over books. I'm gonna start this and then I'll be back with my first kind of impression. To do an update. So I am 130 pages into If He Had Been With Me. I don't really have any strong feelings about it yet. Actually, that's a lie. I do have strong feelings about her wearing a plastic tiara every single day to school, but we'll get to that. But we have Autumn and Finney, childhood best friends. They are neighbors, they're families, they grew up doing everything together. Now they're grown up, they've gotten into high school, and they've completely grown apart. Different friend groups, barely speak to each other. I wouldn't call this a romance novel. I mean, I don't know. I think it is just like YA contemporary fiction, because right now and so far it's just been about Autumn navigating high school, her own separate friend group, what's going on between all of them. She has a different boyfriend, and then her also now being like an outsider to Finney and like realizing the role that he did play in her life, and now there's just like a bunch of awkwardness between them. The thing about Autumn is that she's a weirdo. Her whole shtick is that she's weird, she's quirky, she's different. She's not like the popular girls. It's not like pick me, like it's not over the top to the point where I like absolutely am so annoyed by it. However, she does wear a plastic tiara on her head every single day to school. Like it's her thing, she has different ones. And that's where I'm just like, why? Why do we do that? And there's really no explanation for it. It's just like one day she's in like Claire's and she finds a tiara and she's like, ooh, I'm gonna wear this for the rest of my life. And I don't get it. I am all for people expressing themselves, but allow me to be a hater for just a moment. If I went to school with a girl who wore a tiara every single day, I might feel a little judgmental. Like within myself, not out loud, I would not bully her. But of all things, of all the accessories that you could choose, I feel like a tiara sends a message, doesn't it? You're not wearing a tiara every day because you don't want people to notice you. That was a little rant. I'm done now. I'm done being a hater. But that's how I'm feeling so far. I kind of only just started rooting for Autumn and Finney like 100 pages in, because they had their little moment on her front porch. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see at what point it all starts going downhill. Because I know this does not have a happy ending. I know this does not end with Autumn and Finney getting married, growing old, living a happy life. You know that. You know that right off the bat. But I am interested to see how we get from point A to point B. It's the next day. I was so close to finishing this last night. I think I have like 30-ish pages left, but then I thought to myself, no, I need to finish this full daylight on camera so we can experience the ending of this book together. There's this much of the book left, and I still have not gotten to like the whole big dramatic ending of it all that makes people cry. So within this number of pages is when everything goes down. So let's finish it together right now. Well, that was tragic. Obviously, I did not cry, and I do not feel like I'm going to cry. I don't know, it just like didn't hit me deep enough. I don't know what it is with books. If I didn't cry over A Little Life, I just don't think there is a book out there that's going to make me cry. If I sat here for long enough and like thought about that situation happening in my life, like if I put my boyfriend as Finney and I thought about my boyfriend, then I could eventually cry. But like just reading those words on paper, it was definitely sad. Don't get me wrong, but I also kind of expected it. Like, because the very beginning of the book, like, you know this one thing is coming, but then there's also a little bit more after that. I still kind of also expected that. And I honestly thought she was gonna be successful. So that was that. I think I'm gonna go 3.5 on this one. I didn't dislike it by any means. I would definitely recommend this to people if they said they like wanted a sad book, and or if I knew that they were like an emotional easy crier, then I'd be like, girl, this is gonna get you. But me personally, I guess I'm just a tough nut to crack. So I started Flawless last night. I actually read quite a bit. I am up to page 163, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm quite getting the hype yet. Like, people are raving about these books and I want to like it. Like, this seems like such a fun little like world series to be into and I want to like it, but I don't think I'm quite convinced yet. And I'm like almost halfway through, but this is about Rhett and Summer. Rhett is like a very famous professional bull rider and he's basically like an ambassador, or like he's sponsored by like Got Milk, except it's not like called Got Milk. It's like the equivalent in that world of Got Milk. And he gets in trouble because he's caught on camera shit talking milk. So because this man is basically trashing his own reputation, his PR agent is very upset with him. So he makes his daughter, who also works at the agency, he makes his daughter go and like watch over him. She has to follow him everywhere and she even moves into his house. And I don't quite understand why we had to do all that. Like, couldn't he just get some media training and call it a day? I don't know. That's where we're at so far. They didn't really like each other at first. I mean, he didn't like her because he was irritated that he was basically being babysat, but now they're kind of warming up to each other. I don't know. I really do hope that my opinion changes on this because I want to like it. Maybe it's just that I don't want to hear from the man. So this is like dual POV. We get Summer's point of view and Rhett's point of view. And I guess I'm still trying to figure out what I do and don't like in romance, but I don't think I like the male POV, depending on how it's written. Here, this is why. I'm about to go off on a tangent and I need you to stay with me. So when you're reading first person point of view, as I'm reading that, I'm thinking, okay, this is that character's like stream of thoughts. This is that character's internal monologue. I am hearing the story from their thoughts. Okay, like these are the thoughts that they're thinking in their head as they are experiencing the story, and I am experiencing the story through them. So when I read a book and it has like the first person point of view of a man, I just like cannot imagine a man like thinking these things in his head. So I'm in Rhett's point of view, okay? I'm like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, these are the things that he is thinking in his head. So he says, all I do is snort, swipe a pair of sweats I laid out on the bed, and saunter into the bathroom to get changed. When is a man ever gonna describe himself as sauntering? I don't see that happening. And like here's another one. Turning stiffly, I see her petite form striding toward me like a splash of color in a sea of concrete dirt and brown fence panels. She's paired her dark yellow sweater with a flowing skirt covered in some sort of flower print and a pair of high-heeled boots. Her leather jacket and purse are slung over her arm and her heels click against the concrete, drawing attention from all sides. So it's like, when is a man ever gonna be like that observant over her outfit? And I get it. I get that it's like the author needs to be descriptive in order to convey the story. Like the author wants to mention what the character is wearing. Like, when is a man ever going to like take notice of that stuff and then like include it in their internal monologue? And I don't know, maybe I'm being extremely sexist right now. And I do apologize for that. I don't know. I need someone else to tell me if A, they even understand what I'm saying, and B, if they also feel this way. It is something I notice with so many other books, like, and it's mainly contemporary romance books, but the male POV just always throws me off. I really hope this is making sense because I need to be understood. I need someone to understand me. I'm trying to look for another quote because there's another time you're in his point of view and he is like describing the interior of the house. And I'm just like, when is a man ever going to think this in depth about the oak paneling on the walls? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe this is just something that I like need to get over. I need to get used to it because I really do want to like this and I want to like these books and I want to read the rest of them. And trust me, I understand that like even in the male POV, the author still needs to continue being descriptive, but it's just, it takes me out of it a bit. And I'm gonna keep reading and I will let you know my further thoughts. Are you ready to wrap it up? Are you ready? Oh, Okay. Okay, I kind of get it. I see the appeal. I just finished Flawless. I'm not going to say it's the best book I ever read. It was a little cringy at some moments, like certain pieces of dialogue, certain pieces of the narration didn't love. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of spice in books, and there was quite a bit of that in this book. Some things that I felt a bit embarrassed to be reading. But there were also some really cute moments that I actually quite liked. So I feel like it all kind of balances out. I'm gonna say that this was good in the way that like reality TV is good. And I am a fan of reality TV. I like reality TV, so interpret that how you will. I do think I'm going to continue reading this series just because it was fun, it was cute, and now I feel like I'm invested because all the rest of the books are about different characters who were mentioned in this one, and I do like the whole small town country cowboy ranch rodeo vibe. I think that's a fun aesthetic to be into in a book series. This is probably between a 3 and a 3.5 for me because there were things I didn't like and there were things I did like. They were pretty equal. I will also say the epilogues were unnecessary. Like, I did not need to read an epilogue of just spice. Like, there was enough of that in the book that I did not need another little additional sprinkle of it. I didn't need that. So I guess that concludes this video of Olive picking my reads for the week. So just a little recap of this week. Started with Call Me By Your Name, DNF'd. And then I cheated a little bit and I read The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, but I have no regrets because I ended up loving this, so it was a good choice. And then we had If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. Overall, I'm feeling pretty neutral towards this. Tragic story. It was sad, but it did not make me cry. And then lastly, obviously, you just saw me finish Flawless by Elsie Silver. So thank you, Olive, for your participation. She does not want to be here. I think my other dogs are jealous because they were not included in this video. So I could potentially do more of these because I have 2 other dogs. So we'll see. But that's it for this one. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you decide to stick around. And I'll see you in the next one.